How's it going? I'm Marcus.
And I'm Rami.
And this is the podcast. We try and figure out what this podcast is about.
And what we're doing with our lives. What do we talk about this episode?
We talked about how crazy people keep buying social media apps like Twitter and Parler and Truth Social.
Also, while he's out there, he's already started on the juice, invented a new social app on the blockchain that's open sourced, and with a small fee, you can be part of it. That's what we talk about in this episode.
I invented it on this podcast, and I think it's a pretty good idea. So keep it to yourself.
Just don't let anyone else know about this podcast. That's what we ask of you.
And we finished the episode with a harrowing story about Rami parenting and burning wax on children's face. So
Wait. Context is important. Forget it. Just listen to the thing. You'll be fine.
Hope you enjoy it.
Cheers. There's bag-based things. Mate, your background is looking very spiff. It's the SLR on the new background. It's gorgeous.
Got the SLR up and running, and it made all the difference. The world of difference. You can see all the crow's feet in my eyes.
Forehead. I can see the forehead really clean.
Good furrowed brow.
Yeah. It's good. That's the detail that our viewers
receding hairline. You can see. Yeah, it's ideal. That's what I'm going for. Thanks, pal.
You're looking schmick, mate. You're looking schmick.
Yeah. I think it's. Yeah. I don't know what's going on there. It's because I'm not exercising. That's probably it.
So you're healthy.
Yeah. Tonight I'm drinking a delicious ginger and lime Jameson. I've gone for a ginger and lime, and I'm actually really happy with it. Kelly was like, it's going to be terrible, but it's not terrible.
Is this like your, what was it? Yeah, last week you were having the Bacardi? No, what was it?
Oh, pina colada.
Pina colada.
That was the most disappointing thing that I think might have ever happened to me. Yeah.
Period in your life.
Yeah, because we talked about cocktails, and like always go for a cheeky pina colada if it's an option, and it was an option. Yeah, I was getting an order from Drizzly, getting a couple of bottles of tawny port, and a few rum bowers, and I was like, ooh, it offered me a pina colada, almost as if it had listened to the podcast. I was like, I will a canned pina colada. They don't come in ones; they come in 4-packs. Yeah, I'll take 4 of those.
What could go wrong?
Awful, disgusting stuff. What are you drinking? 21st Amendment IPAs?
Oh, I just realised it's caffeinated. That's no good. No. It's sparkling water with caffeine, which...
At 8:22 at night, if I drank that, I would not sleep. I'd be going to sleep about 4 o'clock in the morning is when I'd be going to sleep.
That was a terrible... Citrus plus green tea, naturally flavoured.
Oh, mildly caffeinated. Green tea isn't real caffeine.
No. This is additional caffeine. This is additional caffeine beyond the green tea. Oh, this is a terrible choice, isn't it? I was like, what's a nice, lovely... That means I've been drinking it... Oh, that explains a lot of things.
How many of them you had during the day?
Well, not today, but I've had a couple. Like, yeah, it's a hydrating...
And have you had bad sleep?
Yeah, it turns out. Yeah. The three coffees plus the water. Yeah. Turns out bad sleep.
That's weird.
Fair dinkum.
Couldn't call it.
Good to learn.
What have you been up to?
Very little, mate. Had a little dinner out, break up middle of the week. It was lovely, balmy. It's the second summer.
Yeah. What happened?
Bay Area second summer is the greatest feature of the Bay Area.
82 degrees today,
which is like 45 in Celsius. I mean, I don't know. It's very hot.
Feels like 50 degrees Celsius.
That's right.
When you're in a basement working,
which many Austrians are. It's just lovely. The Bay Area second summer is the greatest feature of the Bay Area. So basically what happens is in the middle of summer, you get summer, unless you're in San Francisco, in which case you get the depths of winter. But everywhere else around the Bay Area, you get summer.
Yep.
And then it starts going into fall, and you're in September, and you're going, oh, maybe you're going into fall, quote-unquote autumn. And then you hit October, and it pops back up. Yeah. And you're like, I forgot. It's summer all over again.
Do you remember coming from when we first came here, when we were doing that exchange program at the NBA? Yeah. We left London, and we arrived here, and it was like the weather got better and better as it got later. October, November was like shorts, t-shirts, like
magic.
I was like, okay, definitely moving here anyway. Definitely, that sealed the deal for me. We just saw this like false sense of like, this place is perfect. We'll do that.
I'll take the taxes. Yeah, it's the greatest feature where you know that new people, new start to the Bay Area, they go, summer's over, it's fall, it's getting chilly, cold,
you're like,
and everyone goes. Just
wait for the fires. The fires are great crack. Wait till we do you think this is good? Wait till we all have to close all the windows with the heat. Oh, it's brilliant. No air conditioning, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that bit too. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's bloody lovely. It's very
What's
nice.
your air purifier situation down there? You're not a prepper. You probably don't have any of that stuff, do you?
We have a couple of standalone air purifiers, but we have cycle aircon. So we've just got, the furnace plus
Centralised air
aircon,
handling unit.
centralized
Yeah.
air. And the filters, you can get ones that are, whatever it is,
Carbon.
2700
Charcoal,
micron.
charcoal
the whole,
things, isn't that what
the
you
whole
need?
story.
Yeah, HEPA filters and charcoal filters.
I've got them here somewhere, actually. So basically, the
Yeah.
filter that you put on the intake, the
Yeah.
reverse intake of your air conditioner, but you can also
Yeah.
put it on without aircon. You can just put it as a fan.
You think
Will
those
flush
work?
out the entire. Yeah, I think they work pretty well. So I've done
Yeah.
tests where I do the AQI. I've got a couple of measures.
Yeah.
Do the test inside. Run the fan as it is, and then watch it basically just cycle out the air and cycle out the goodness.
Good
It
stuff.
looks pretty nice. Yeah, it catches it. Seems to work.
Good.
Yeah, house-wide cleansing. But I still have a lot of localized stuff just in case.
We've got the distributed system. So we've got the not centralized air handling unit. And so I've got like 4 or 5 of these little units that every time there's an Amazon Prime sale, I end up buying another one because they go for half price, but they're $200, And we've just got loads of them. And I need another one for the basement. Now I've got one in the garage. We've got like 3 upstairs.
Of course.
And we run them all the time. We run one in the kids' bedroom now at night time, and we run one in our bedroom. It's probably a terrible idea because there's
good stuff in the air. Are you just
well,
using
like,
it as
it's
a
like
white
it-
noise machine? Is that what's happening right now?
I don't know if there's any science to it, but there's like a movement that if you purify you're more likely to like have allergies when you're older. Like if your kids, there's something about like you shouldn't pull all the pollutants out of the air in your bedroom at night time because it's no harm getting a little bit of it into you or something. I don't know.
It's the same as over cleansing being too pure. It's the Japanese model where if you over clean, you're going to get sicker because you develop your own immunity. You're not getting. It's good to eat dirt. It's good
Kelly
to always
doesn't
wash
have
your
any
hands.
immunity at all anyway, so genetically they're predisposed to like being allergic to everything. Like Kelly's allergic, like the way people are like, oh, she's allergic to any of the things that you know of. She's allergic to them. So like she is
jellyfish.
So the
Is she
kid,
allergic to jellyfish? I know.
but also like dogs, but also cats, but also like I don't know anything that like her eyeballs itch if she like touches anything that's alive. Basically,
just thinks about another being and goes.
Yeah. Given that her chosen profession was to work with marine science, I guess it's different. Maybe you're not rubbing dolphins off your face and stuff as much, So it's.
But maybe that's why she went for marine, not zoology, because she's like, I need to go for the animals that love me.
Yeah,
it's kind of why depressives become psychologists, isn't it? They run towards the problem. They want to understand what the issue is. Yeah.
I do always worry. Here's a general sweeping statement, but believed to be true. Do you know any sane psychologists or psychiatrists? Like people, like as in, I think people are generally drawn to that stuff. Who you have to have a little bit of it in you to be able to understand it, right?
It's. I think it's relatively logical, which is there's a curiosity to understand stuff that you've gone through, and that process makes you interested in the whole space. That makes you interested in the why and the how, and it's not necessarily they're insane. It's just if you've gone through something, if you've gone deep, if you've gone through a particular tough teenage
I'm not saying they're
years or
insane, but I'm saying to want to get to the bottom of it. Yeah,
there's a correlation.
So did you this week? Did you buy any social media platforms?
Once again, mate, I missed out. I was about to. You know me. It was me on Parler going, do I, don't I, do I press the button?
Do I, don't I?
Bloody Yee beat me to it, didn't he? Bloody
Do you know what he's paying for it? I didn't see what he's paying, but I mean, I didn't even look it up.
I imagine
How
it's
much
rock
does Parler
bottom,
cost?
considering it's the one. So flashback to an episode where we talked. Maybe we should just have the cut where you go, here's
Cut
what
back
Parler
in
is.
and I go, yeah.
Parler is the one that spiked after the January 6th. The January 6th thingies.
Insurrection.
Insurrection. Wow, what great branding by the anti-insurrectionists.
Yeah.
The insurrection, it spiked because Twitter and everyone else was shutting all the other forms of comms down because they were getting used to coordinate. So everyone coordinated on Parler. Bunch of very funny and amusing / not amusing things, not least of which was every platform known to tech, be it Google, be it Apple, be it Amazon shutting down the actual serving capacity, or the ISPs cutting it down, basically shut Parler off. They deplatformed the platform because it was being used to coordinate an insurrection of the country. Yet the whole thing was such a farce that every piece of content became accessible by some basic web crawl because it was on a website, and got sent around and got used in all of the hearings. And so you see all of all the content that people were sending privately to one another and across that network.
Yeah, it was destroyed. And I thought it was shut down and everything. I thought it had been booted from the Apple App Store, like from the app stores, but apparently it hasn't been. Apparently it is back on Apple stores and Google stores.
Reinstated, yeah. Whatever dregs, whatever fire sale, whatever ruined remnants were left.
It came back.
Kanye
but I was looking at I was kind of trying to figure out how viable it is. I was like, is this even a thing? Apparently there's 90,000, there was 90,000 downloads. Is it 90,000 last quarter? 90,000 downloads last quarter, where Twitter had 9 million. Like, I mean, the order of magnitude is like...
Bots,
I mean,
mate. Bots.
You think so?
No, I have no idea. All I'm saying is it's more than Horizon World, isn't it?
Well, that's true. But even if you assume 9 in 10 downloads of Twitter is bots, it's still orders of magnitude more successful.
Anytime you hear numbers, you've got to ask who, where, why. Like, if it's all 90,000 from the Philippines, then there's no point to it. It doesn't really help Kanye, right? He needs it to be... depending what he's trying to do. If it's a media...
Come on, don't pretend Kanye's bought that for any other reason than he said a few anti-Semitic things on Twitter and they threatened to ban him, and he's like, I'll buy my own one. It's like, none of them are left. All the lunatics already bought the other ones. Mark Zuckerberg has one and he's changed into the metaverse. Elon Musk is trying to buy one. Trump has his own one already. Like, what's left? Parler. There's like... Do you know what you and me should make? We can't put this out in the podcast because it's such a good idea. We should make a Web3 social app that is built on blockchain with a public ledger. Open source. Wait, I want to get all the buzzwords. Open source Web3 X app that we can sell to some celebrity who's being in like 3 to 6 months. Basically, a flipper. We get it up there.
Generative AI social blockchain. Are you sure? Do you want to stop recording just to make sure we can talk through properly?
Let's talk it through, and I'll delete it after. Here we go. Yeah. Because this is good IP here.
This is brilliant. We should target it just at the celebs. I did have a look at Farcaster. So Simon from last week, if anyone who's got continuity and or if you ever hear that episode, was giving us the full lowdown on all the options in Web3. So I did check out Farcaster, and indeed Farcaster seems to be the closest to what's going on here. So it is exactly what you described. It's meant to be the social wire of Web3, and then there's a bunch of clients that are being developed to easily kind of look at it and parse it and engage with it in different ways. That's the thing I don't quite understand is you've got the core data store and network, but then you have a proliferation of clients and they can all treat the data and surface it in different ways. I'm kind of not sure how that works, but maybe I'm missing a bit. Anyway, I did notice there's a fair bit of activity. I mean, it's the usual suspect. It's the people who are in the system wanting to kind of pump the system, but
I mean, it's real. It's tongue in cheek, but it's like, I mean, you know what? For the first time in ages, I think there is actually room for another better social platform. We were so tired of social media. It's like, Snore, are you really doing social media and messaging apps and all that? It's like, everyone had one, and now I kind of come full circle, and I'm like, we actually need is this the best? We need better than this. Like, Twitter's all bots. Like,
every gen, there's always generational. That's the beauty of like social, but consumer tech in general is that habituation breeds the next cycle of everything. So no matter how much you think something's one, it'll always like it'll change. Habits change and people get used to stuff.
Twitter seems to have survived all those storms though. Like Twitter's, I do feel like I remember we were interviewing after the NBA or during the NBA, we did some interviews at Twitter and we got a chance to meet some people. And I remember thinking, like, I went to like Dropbox, and I was big on the cloud but I went like Dropbox and Box and
storage.
I don't know.
The storage is going to get so expensive that you were seeing the future of how expensive storage would be.
I don't know. I was just into it. 2015, I was big on clouds. But I talked to a bunch of, I went to all these like, Facebook, Google, all those open things. But when I went to Twitter, I was like, we would have the product strategy people come in and they would talk to us about things like Google. The Glass folks came in and we did cool stuff. But talking to the Twitter execs, I was like, these people are just tumbling in a wave. Like, they don't even know. They're like surfing by accident. Basically, someone fell off a surfboard and the wave caught them at the perfect time, and they're being thrown to the shore faster than everybody else. But they're like, they're surfing, but like not through any, you know, it was just one of those ones where I was like, Twitter's not going to make it. And then it's got better and better, and it is making, you know, I'm just like,
I feel like you're reading off Musk's investor pitch. It's like,
really?
Yeah, well, the principle here is that there's a lot of potential here because they've hooked onto something and it's a total mess and they haven't worked out how to monetize, but maybe you don't more need to monetize it. I've always said it should be a social good. It's the new wire. It's the new democratized wire, and you can do what you like. You groom the right follows, you can get a certain thing, you work out how to use it for just official comms, you can do whatever you want with it. But, you know... Whether they've maximized the potential of it.
The trouble comes as soon as you try and curate it. So I agree with you that. So I think that is where the true value is. That if you can have a true data source that you can tune to any frequency you want to and hear it filtered in whatever way you want to filter it. Yeah. But the way Twitter's had real problems in the past is, as soon as they've tried to curate it or bring the better stories to the top, or the, you know, which they've been doing, they're getting better at it. But they've had massive criticism along the way, and this like deplatforming or, you know, silencing people who are being genuinely abusive or bullies or you know, it all is met with like anything that filters it in any way breaks it somehow,
or
you know?
Like the non chronological feed, everyone loses their bonker. Like it's
you're like, you don't want to just tune in and see like what's going on, who's the latest person who shouted into an empty vacuum. No,
there's a lot of constituents and old school constituents there. I think Twitter's definitely the most sustainable in that realm. It is amazing to me how I think like Big Blue itself, the Facebook app itself, is a real testament to that generational change, and they optimized for certain things, but as soon as behavior shifted, they didn't keep up. Even though you've got like Facebook groups, which have just been completely cannibalized by Discord, and that by all rights should be the thing that's winning right now. Then IG got completely cannibalized. Right now it's getting completely cannibalized by TikTok. And
for different reasons though. Facebook was cannibalized because it was a victim of its own success, because a generation of people adopted it entirely. The next generation didn't want it at all. So like, So,
in fact, the following generation adopted it. Once your mum and dad were on there, you didn't want to be on there.
Exactly.
Had people drop off.
Exactly. It became so successful that mum and dads went on, and then you're like, oh, wait a minute.
I'm
what?
out.
Okay.
Yeah, creepy. Or even it doesn't have to be mum and dad. It just has to be, it's basically the rings of your social group, right? So once the social circle became, and this is where G Plus was actually well ahead of its time by defining circles, which is as soon as your connections grew beyond a certain type, you posted differently because you're now, I've just got any acquaintance on here and I'm very conscious of what I put on, as opposed to it actually my friends or just my social group.
Yeah.
And hence they've been trying to create, subsets and groups, and why Instagram has close friends and regular friends. Everyone's been trying to work out how to contain the natural social graph kind of explosion. But I don't know what you've seen.
Why was
TikTok
TikTok so successful? Like, because Vine, remember Vine? Was it Vine or Vines? Was it singular or plural?
Vine missed it. By the way, Twitter bought them, and Twitter's the one who fumbled it, right?
Oh, was it? Did Twitter buy Vine?
Fumbled it. Yeah, short form video.
Because that was class. Vine was was it like 7-second videos? Is that what it was?
Same deal. Yeah, same deal. And then they opened it up to 30-second, and like the story of Vine is an amazing story.
The Vines used to be hilarious. There was a real crew of fantastic creators. I really liked Vine. I was surprised it died.
Very, very, very focused
before its time. Yeah.
And they had a really good community of creators, and they were fostered really closely. And like, if you read the history, the stories of the groups where the Vine like execs and the community managers would go into a room with all the Vine creators, telling them exactly what to do, and then shouting at them when they're not doing it. And like, it fell by the community themselves. Just went, forget it, I'm out, and then jumped over.
This is not how this works. Yeah, and they probably weren't making any money or anything, right? It was like, I mean, what was the incentive to do it as well, except to get famous? It didn't quite work. Yeah.
I mean,
so
the TikTok story is the TikTok story is a funny one, because so Vine clearly showed the value of like short form. Then TikTok did, notably two very big things, other than the kind of mechanics and basic table stakes of creation and making it really easy, and get like a lot of the hooks and a lot of that sort of stuff, and making music the foundation of it. I think the two core things, which started with Musical.ly, a separate one, right, which was all about the music, and then they pivoted that in. I think the two biggest things they did, one, then they get all the kudos and all of the current adulation around the algorithmic feed.
Yeah.
just completely pivoting away from social connection
Yeah.
and signal to pure algorithmic signal, i.e.,
Yeah.
I've watched it. It's the explore model that I've watched this sort of thing for long enough, and they pepper each video with 5, 6, 7 thousands of different attributes, and then let the algorithm take out what people like and what they don't. Because it's short, you can do that because you're very quick. It doesn't cost you much to skip to the next one, and it doesn't cost you much to watch it. So they've worked like the combo of the type of content.
Engagement doesn't drop off massively if you get 3 wrong in a row, because you just skip 3 and then you're within 10 seconds you're on the next one.
It's a real fit synergy of both the content type and the algorithm, and then they nailed the pure unknown and test this content with its subgroup, and if it works well, test it with a bigger group and let it go through. And they nailed that, which makes it hyper predictive as a consumer.
Faster than YouTube on that, because it was short form. It was just the iterations were faster.
Exactly. So you can't do that sort of thing with long form at all. It's far too costly to do the experimentation as an algorithm. Like by costly, I mean kind of per cycle. So you needed a short form person. The question is, why didn't someone like Vine or someone else do it, or IG? But IG wasn't going video; they were doing stills, and they invested a ton in the algorithmic. Like the number of people working on their AI and the algorithms. So it's just math, right? Like working out their ranking. But they absolutely didn't start in social. They're pure discovery, pure exploit, and they're adding a social graph, whereas someone like IG started with social, and they're trying to add pure exploit, to turn it into the world's largest America's Got Talent, essentially is what it is. Yeah. But the far bigger story is actually the marketing dollars. I don't know if you remember back then, kind of 5 years ago, where every time you opened up Facebook or Instagram or any other app, all you saw were TikTok ads to download the TikTok app, and you see these amazing effects and people dancing and like wicked kind of SFX, and it was driving downloads at an insane. They spent billions and billions and billions
stealing people from platforms,
and Facebook and Snap and others took the money,
sold them.
Yeah, we'll take your money.
And they had the best targeting advertising for them too. They're like, oh yeah, if you want this specific, we can target. What's your exact demographic? Of course, we'll give you them. Yeah,
they know exactly who they were. They spent an insane amount of, like, I can't remember the exact figures, but their mental amount of dollars pumped into download, just acquisition, user acquisition, and they spent it on the very platforms they cannibalized. And I think that is probably one of the largest kind of oversight. And maybe it's fair. It's like a Chinese wall. Like, you're not meant to. The ad group is not meant to deny someone that the organic team in Facebook was kind of fighting against. But I think that's by far the biggest story. It doesn't just happen purely magically. There's definitely some growth and virality and traction before it, but the marketing dollars is what made it so quick and so large. You know what I'm hoping? I'm hoping that social media is becoming so decentralized now that it's actually getting harder for foreign and the presidential campaign was influenced in 2016 by Facebook, largely on Facebook, through Facebook marketing and Facebook disinformation. I'm really hoping that things are getting more and more distributed now, that it's actually harder to do it. Does that make sense? By distributing a multi-platform, that you have to do, like we have to do malicious ads on TikTok and Instagram Reels and Facebook and WhatsApp, and like I'm kind of hoping. I don't know. I feel like in 2016, and it's not that long ago, but I used to get a lot of my news on there, and people kind of, they say that they didn't, but they did. I used to go on there and I would get a lot of my news feed on there. I used Flipboard and I used Facebook to see kind of what were the things that were trending. And things have changed now, and that's partly, it's because people don't trust some of those platforms anymore to serve up their news. But I also think it's because the kind of total market share that one or two of those had has disappeared. It's more distributed. What do you think of that? I think you're going to have the exact same problem with TikTok, and you already are. In fact, arguably worse, because it's actually harder to detect some of the misinfo that's happening there. But do you think it's So you're already getting the targeted kind of for young people and misinformation and really weird scare tactics happening. I don't know about foreign agents or not foreign agents, but you definitely have a vector, and arguably a much faster, potent vector, given the algorithm kind of dissemination of it. So I think that story is going to play out, and it's going to play out in a big way. Does it make it harder for a malicious actor to have to go multi-platform? Maybe, but just pick your big one and go with it, right? Like you just have a short form video kind of arm of your attack group, and they'll just post it on the short form platforms, and they'll have a text, bot Twitter story arm. I think that's, and then you've got your mainstream actual news, organized news sites that are doing their thing, and they're the real problem.
I want to talk about news in a sec. This is why on our, again, we'll have to delete this from the podcast, with our social platform that we're building on the blockchain. One of the main requirements is that every time you post something, you do it wearing a polygraph test. So it has to be true. It'll be like we'll be like, is this the truth to the best of your knowledge? And at least we'll know that we'll still have to filter for, they were still wrong, but like that'll be one of the barriers, is that hardware. We'll have a hardware play as part of it, where you'll buy the Marcus and Rami polygraph.
Yeah, nice. We'll send it to every home
at scale. Yeah.
Do you I mean, V1's probably going to be a little bit bigger. V2.
I mean, V1 comes in a truck, and then gradually it would get to the point where you could have it on your desk. But I think initially, you'd need a spare bedroom.
I think you've got to do things that don't scale to begin with. That's what I understand.
Yeah. MVS1. Yeah. Earliest testable prototype. And it being network effect, we're going to want a lot of people to have it. So I'm thinking maybe 10 to 15 people is enough, something like that. 10 to 15 people on our network before we approach any celebs with it. You know what I mean? Like tweeting like daily. We want like 15, or as Simon said, MAU don't count. So yeah, 1 million MAU. People logging in, not being able to use it, being frustrated and leaving. We need something like that before we try and sell it.
Just one truck driving around. You signal your intent to post. The truck gets to you. It's just a slight lag. It's a slight lag.
Drones will bring them ultimately, but initially it'll be trucks. It'll be EVs. Amazon Prime will bring them as part of your delivery, and you'll be able to tweet within 48 hours of wanting to.
Look, it's smart. Yeah. It's smart. I've said it before. You're a visionary, and I think this is no different. This is
where hardware and software connects. That's really where I like to play.
It's about vertical integration, isn't it? That's what you're thinking through. That's what you think. That's where the real power comes in.
Well, yeah, you're laughing now, but if you don't want in, you don't have to be in. But I'm putting everything we have, me and Cal have, into this. We're going all in on this. There's nothing else to invest in. Bonds. You heard I'm thinking of investing in bonds. So when you're like thinking to yourself in the morning, the best idea now is I-bonds. We should max out on I-bonds before November 1st deadline. Then you're like, actually, maybe it is time to do that social distributed app that you've been thinking of doing, Bonds are the most exciting
just described
thing.
The entire startup ecosystem dynamic right now. Just like, fucking yeah, you might as well go and do something. Mate, this is huge. Yeah. There's no question.
Yeah, all in. So, the way like Murdoch, the previous generation of buying newspapers and news outlets and controlling the media.
Murdoch style.
What happened there? Why is it now all lunatics?
What? Tell me more. Who's lunatics where?
Well, I mean, our social apps, is Twitter, Truth Social, and Ye's purchase of Parler. Are they the new? Is this the next generation of that?
Yeah. This was Bezos buying WAPO, and then now you just need to own a media company as a celeb. As a rich person, you need to own a media company.
But is it a status thing now, or is it genuinely to be successful? Is it to like? Yeah. Is it to help control? Like I don't. Yeah.
You'd have to think it's a bit more about controlling narrative or having an influence, right? Rather than just purely. I can't think other than those three social media, and notionally Musk is the main one who's has no business doing it and suddenly gets into it. And his narrative is more about there's potential here and it's amazing stuff. It's not necessarily about imparting his own editorial, which
you think
is different,
so?
Right?
I don't know if I trust Musk anymore in any of that stuff, with all the Ukraine stuff, and he loves all that. Yeah. He's controlling a narrative.
There's no editorial. I mean, he's already controlling his own narrative on Twitter. No one's blocking him. So I don't see how, with the ambassador of Ukraine can tell him to F off, and that's the conversation that's having in public. What's he going to do? He's going to own it, and then he's going to call someone up and go, block that person, don't block that person. There's no editorial thread in the social side other than the policies, and the policies will have a lot of scrutiny very quickly, whereas news always had an opinion section.
Is it not the same? I think it's the same. I can't separate those. The influence that Bezos has on Washington Post editorial is equivalent to setting policy on Twitter around who you ban or how you control the flow of information. Are they not equivalent?
I don't think so. I mean, I can see the argument that it's media and you just need to own a media empire. I just think the levers are very, very different. They're so much more direct. Like Murdoch would have politicians over and anoint them and go, yep, you're the person, and the next day's front page is a teardown of the other guy and we literally endorse this person. The political desk endorses politicians. That's the front page, and most people don't understand the difference between the political desk, the opinions desk, or actual hard news. And okay, so that's what I believe now. There's no such thing unless you believe like the owner, the money-based owner, is going to be able to delve into the algorithm and promote certain stories over another, or turn the knob to go one way versus.
Well, you turn the knob. That's all. You turn the knob, and unfortunately, we don't see the knobs.
What not? Well, yeah, I don't believe. I don't buy that. I think there's way too many checks and balances in policy and algorithm in the setup for that to be that easy or that transparent. And all of the knobs so far, if anything, have tilted the exact opposite way you expect. And what I mean by that is everyone always says, the claim from the right is that all social media is biased against them. In actual fact, it's biased towards them because they shout about it so much. So all social media platforms basically have to kowtow and kind of do what they need to do to not appear biased. So you end up with weird two-sidism happening on social media when there shouldn't be two-sidism. And the policies
like flat earthers get a lot of news in my YouTube feed. For some reason, I keep getting offered flat Earth videos. There can't be that many flat Earth videos, but I'm a sucker for them as well, which is probably why the algorithm's showing them. But I'm like,
if
there
anything,
can't be another one.
You end up amplifying the weird stuff as a way of trying to be unbiased or kind of appeasing that side, the loud side, and then policies have to be done equally, right? So you could take out like hate speech out of your enforcement policy, but then you can have both sides doing hate speech. So I don't see how that benefits an individual. I could see it advancing.
I hear you. Do you think Truth Social is genuinely dialed to neutral?
I have no idea what Truth Social does. I mean, by definition, there's selectivity bias there, right? Where you've got people on there who are doing their own thing.
Yeah,
but I don't see how that's like. Yeah, good question. So you reckon he's in there going, no, do your thing?
Of course he is. Whether it's happening or not, it's the intricacies of it. Like, he doesn't understand the algorithm. Like, he doesn't understand even what an algorithm is, if I'm honest. So, like, but I do think he's definitely meeting with the execs and like, and
they're pumping his account or his account sponsored for free as a sponsored ad and stuff.
Yeah, every single user needs to get this commercial. Like, there's things like that happening where it's like every user gets this pop up now that it's like support my campaign or something.
It's a really good point. Yeah. I think, let me reframe it. I think any sufficiently broadly used successful platform has a harder time of that sort of manipulation. But if it's grown from the ground up with a selectivity bias with the explicit purpose of being that megaphone, then I think that's reasonable.
Okay, we've done that then.
I buy that.
Done. Yeah.
It's definitely is the trend. I'll look forward to buying my own social media platform one day.
Yeah.
Just to
buy my one.
Influence. Your one's going to be open source, mate. I don't need to buy anything. I need to buy the support and maintenance. Is that what it is? I need to buy the maintenance package.
Doing it from the goodness of my heart. Yeah.
Always rip off. It's always
going to be brilliant.
You give me the thing open source, but I can't turn it on without your service package.
It's just logins. We're actually, where we make our money is we're actually creating a Web3 credential service. So just to be able to log in costs you $30 a month, but the platform is open source, fully free. Yeah,
smart. That's smart.
Yeah.
Chokehold.
Yeah. Nonsense. Complete nonsense.
Amazing.
Oh, yeah.
That's what the podcast should be. It should be a piss take. That's exactly what it should be.
Yeah. You don't know. We might get it right by accident sometime and be kicking ourselves. We have to be careful. Some of the stuff that does come out that you're like, if someone pitched that to me, I would have been like, that would have been good, in the 90s or whatever. Like, some of the stuff that makes it these days. Can you believe that? Anyway, I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want to go in depth on it, but I was going to talk about that WeWork CEO, how he got the amount of funding he's got now and how that deal went down. I'm like, oh my God, like, it makes me, what are we doing, Rami? Sitting here actually doing the hard yards and grinding. You know what I mean? You literally,
We're exerting our influence right now with this media empire that we're kicking off.
Mm-hmm.
It's the M&R rank is what this is. This is just the seeds. The seeds,
right.
mate.
Tell us where we are in our ranking. Tell us about the interesting text you sent me, the motivating text after our last week.
I was just about to bring up the motivating text, but you put a pin. I do want to go back to the social thing one last time.
Sure.
But the motivating text that I wrote was something along the lines of, look, 70% of podcasts die after 10.
3 episodes.
3 episodes. 90% of podcasts die after 20 episodes.
Boom.
Just keep going. Just keep going. And I looked it up and I'm like, we are well past 20. We've flown, but 20 is in our rearview mirror. We are in the top 10%, maybe 5% charitably based on how much we keep publishing.
There we go. Yeah.
So do we just keep doing it? We just, whatever it is, just keep doing it.
We'll wear them down.
Attrition.
Our audience is, our future audience are the people, we'll just wear them down. There's just relentless posting of podcasts. And in the end, we'll make it. Just a blockade of 10
content.
years from now.
Is the idea just there'll be no other podcasts? Just you're the only
people
one
will
left.
have grown out of it. Yeah, they'll be like, remember people used to do podcasts like when like cassettes and CDs come back popular again, and then they'll be like, is anyone still doing it? Rami and Marcus are.
Look at these grey beard done.
Talking nonsense on a Wednesday.
Or maybe what it does is it allows the byline to be podcasters, 10-year veterans of podcasting, and that becomes the byline, which in itself grows credibility. Is that what happens?
Something like that.
Can we just skip ahead and pretend like 10 years ago we were podcasting and do that in the byline?
Like the people who cheat in the London Marathon, who start the race and then get on a bus and then for the last mile sprint it in and give it the... we could do that. We could be the equivalent of that.
I'm not endorsing catching a bus to the end of this marathon. I'm just saying.
Well, you basically did. You said, can we phone it in? Can we just pretend we did it?
Can we just, let's see if that works as an experiment? It legitimizes our... People go, veterans, they must know what's going on. Yeah. And then they'll see our production value and go, well, they're more than
through the roof.
The whole team.
They've invested in LEDs anyway. They're not cheap.
And cushions.
Not for that time when that came out. If that's 10 years ago, those LEDs cost a fortune.
so inefficient. Not even controlled by alien technology. I love that stat. I thought that was motivating. Did you not think it was motivating?
What was motivating? Oh, the stat. I thought the stat was motivating. It was briefly motivating, but also soul destroying too, a little bit like that. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. It's fun. I'm glad we do this. I'm really glad we do it.
Why soul destroy?
I mean, we did take 3 months off in the summer, but like our stats dropped massively. Like I don't even know. I don't know if I didn't check, but I don't know if anyone listened to last week's podcast. One person even. I didn't. So like, I don't know. Like, my parents don't know about it anymore. Like, because we stopped doing it. So like, it's kind of like it's in stealth mode again, and I'm just wondering what happens this time. I do have some ideas about season 2. I'm excited about season 2.
What is season 2 next year?
Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
I got a text
we haven't had this conversation. This might be the break. I mean, we haven't talked about this. We said we committed to 8 episodes and then 12, but now I'm just assuming we do this for the rest of our lives. So, did I jump too far into the relationship? It's kind of like, at the start where you check in regularly and are you into this? I'm into this. You want to keep doing this? Yeah. You want to call this a thing? You want to call this yeah. And then we brought some other people in and, to kind of jazz it up a bit. It was kind of always,
and then it's just
new people into the relationship
in front of the couch and popcorn and your pajamas for the rest of your life on a Friday night.
I kind of thought that's where we were at now, where maybe I've misjudged this situation terribly, but I thought we could settle in and relax into it. No,
just keep rolling. 3 quarters in, we just keep rolling. Okay. I'm into season 2, mate. I didn't even consider that the whole year is a single season, which seems like
is that what they do? You see, neither of us listen to podcasts, so anyway. We're going to have there's a new format. I wrote a Google Doc to start this podcast off in the beginning, and I knew nothing about it. Now, all I'm saying is next Christmas, there's a new Google Doc being written by Marcus, and it's happening. Yeah,
that's enough to scare everyone. I'm in, mate. I'm into guests to the high heaven, structured guests, and like ratchet this shit right up. Okay.
We've got in our house at the moment. It's all about Pokemon. Have you got to the Pokemon? She's a bit young yet, isn't she?
Yeah, we're way off.
So what we did was, for a treat. What was it? Something happened, and we ended up driving somewhere, and we asked the kids what do they want, and they asked for McDonald's. And Kelly never says yes to that, but she said, "Okay, sure."
Is she allergic to it?
No. But they went for Happy Meals. They had their first Happy Meal, and they got Pokemon cards. 3 cards each in their Happy Meal.
Amazing.
And they're Pokemon nuts. Like, they love Pokemon. I can't believe Pokemon. Actually, that's a gent. Like, how is Pokemon still super cool to kids? Like, that's Nike lasted a long way. Yeah. So anyway, they got 3 cards. Anyway, long story short, I asked them, Rosie, she earned a prize. What did she want? She wanted some Pokemon cards. So I was like, went onto eBay to try and buy some McDonald's Pokemon cards. Turns out people are going nuts collecting these things. They're worth a fortune. So I bought a pack. I bought 2 packs of the cheap ones, one each. I bought 25 Pokemon cards for each of the kiddos. So 50 cards from this person on eBay. They sent them, and I was tracking them in transit, and I said, they're coming today, kids. And then I got a delivery confirmation, and then no cards. There were nothing on the doorstep, and they didn't come for 2 days. So I pinged the person on eBay and said, it says delivered, but we didn't get them. Will you refund me or send me a new set? And they had 5 days to respond. And 5 days after that, they didn't respond to me. So eBay, after that, will start to refund me automatically. In the meantime, 5 days after, I got frustrated with waiting for this, and the kids were sad and they're lost. I'm never going to see them. So I went online and bought 50 cards each, because the set was to buy 50 each, and it was not crazy expensive. I was like, okay, I'll buy these. Now, what happened in the meantime was the 2 sets of 50 cards arrived on the exact same day as the original set of 25 each. So 50 arrived. But what happened the day after was that person had also sent a set again when the first set hadn't arrived. So we ended up getting, I think we got 100. I've got nearly 200 Pokemon cards in my drawer upstairs, like packed full of these flipping McDonald's Pokemon cards, which are like
escalated.
Like
quick.
I'm hoarding them. So anyway, we had to figure out a system. I was like, I can't even give these all to the kids because they'll be everywhere. So anyway, our new treat system is, if they do something good, if you're like, get dressed for school and brush your teeth, and if they do it without faffing and you have to ask them again, you can say, oh, that was good listening, and they get to pick out a Pokemon card. So we've got them for the next couple of months on that one, which is great.
Couple of years. What do you mean? Until they're 16? That's perfect.
Yeah, I mean it is. But I've got, the moment, I'm like the biggest Pokemon hoarder in the world. I like the stack, Rami, is it's 6 inches of Pokemon cards. Yeah. I haven't gone through them. There might be something in there. I don't know. So,
well, I just saw a Jake Paul video the other day where he opened one up live, opened a packet, and the last one was $300,000 worth.
That's not right. That's not true, though. If he does that, what are the chances that Jake Paul bought that? What are the chances that he actually opened it live? And what are that's not real.
YouTube, are you telling me YouTube lies? YouTube does not lie, mate.
Jake
Content
Paul,
does not lie.
Of all people,
Jake
would
Paul
not lie.
does not lie. Anyway, you should check it out. 300,000. You could be sitting on a gold mine, mate. We should at least consult
all of that
consult
into
the
our
almanac.
new app. Yeah, let's do it. Sell the kids Pokemons to do a blockchain social thing. Yeah,
I bet you're sitting on an absolute gold mine, mate. I bet you're sitting on.
This might be the best thing that's ever happened to us, actually. My best investment of all time was actually buying too many Pokemon by accident.
Not the NBA, the Pokemon cards. What? Talk me. I have some highlights, lowlights of kids on weekend while we're here, but talk me through like parenting treats. Punishment, talk me through your philosophy on that for a second.
We try not to. So what we do with the McDonald's one is like we try not to reward them with food. So like we, the kind of
food, no rewards.
It was always like a treat thing when I was younger. It's like, do you want a treat? You were good. We get a Macca's,
chocolate,
and then or chocolate or whatever. Yeah. If you're good, you can have it's like that's probably not the best thing to do.
Yeah.
We try and give them a bit of everything, though. We do, like Kelly's very good at giving them healthy stuff generally, and they'll ask for fruit, but they love sweets, and we let them have sweets. We let them have dessert or something every day. They have something small.
Yeah.
But we do like limit it. We don't let them. We don't let them have soft drinks and stuff. And I mean, they've sipped Coke, but they think Coke is for grown-ups, and in the same way they've sipped beer and they've sipped coffee, things like that, just to try the taste, but not, we're not letting them like drink sodas.
Spicy is the word that we use for any time that you don't want anything drunk. Spicy. Oh, okay, spicy. I'm out.
She doesn't like spicy food because we give the kids spicy food. So
no, it's like a word for any food, any drink that's like too either usually fizzy is typically what it is, but it's spicy. So you just say spicy and it's done. Less about food like quality, but more like behavioral techniques on reinforcement. So Pokemon as a positive reinforcement reward, essentially, is what's going on here.
And it's like, so the rules of it are, if they do something just to get a Pokemon card, they don't get one. If they do one and say, if I do this, can I get one? Or if they even do something obviously and they come out to you and say, okay, Daddy, I got dressed and I brushed my teeth just like you asked straight away, it's no Pokemon card.
Why?
Variable reward, right? It's clicker training.
Oh, you're doing clicker.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is, right? Like it's, cause so if they can guarantee, if they know the reward every time that they'll get and they know the sequence of events to get it, they'll just, so what we're trying to do is reward them just doing what we ask them to do. But we don't reward them every time, not for the same thing every time. Not even every day. So like some days they won't get treats, and then another day you'll say, actually, you know what, that was really good. I'd like to, and then so you're trying
Here's 200.
Yeah,
Got it. So you're doing
200,
variable rewards. So you're literally keeping the casino going.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I did wonder how variable we go. Okay. No food, no chocolate reward makes sense. No treat rewards. We got desperate with potty training, but we've managed out of that.
I think whatever you got to do to stop there being
the stickiest thing. I just couldn't work out.
Human feces in your house.
Yeah. Like there's some things that are worth it.
If it takes 5 jelly beans a day, you're going to do it.
So be it. A Kinder Surprise a poop was basically what the economics worked out for us, which was
Kinder Surprise expensive here. It's not Europe, you know. So that's quite the investment. You want to work in tech for that kind of reward system, you know.
I was like, you better learn this quick. Let me tell you. There's some incentives across the board.
Mommy and Daddy's retirement fund is
just wilting away. Variable. Yeah, I was just trying to work out. The star charts, blah blah blah. None of that.
We do the star charts are good. It depends. Like, I think it's good. I think the star charts are good. It depends. I've always felt about the star charts. If sometimes, like, if I do it, like if I get 30 stars, then I get like I get $2, or I get to go and pick out a stuffy or something. I'm like, no kid is going to be able to. Depending
30.
on age, 30, do 30 things and see it building over time. And those ones, it's basically when it gets to 28 and they're like, 2 more to go. Okay. And then they're incentivized. But so I don't get the star charts like that. One of the things we did have great success with, though, was Kelly creating a morning chart where it was like with little diagrams like brush hair, brush teeth, clothes on. And if she did the thing, she would get a thing in each box. For each one of the things she did herself, she would get a little sticker in each box. She enjoyed putting the sticker in each box. That was a reward in itself. I did that, boom. I did that, boom. Thank God she did it. And then at the end of it, can't remember what the reward was, but if she would get a jelly bean. That's right. If she did all of the 6 things that needed doing before she left for school, Kelly would give her a jelly bean on the cycle on the way into school. That was something like that. Got it. And we had good success with that too.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. We had a very big adventure on the weekend where we went for maybe a 5-mile cycle. So I've got my bike. I've got the baby, the 1-and-a-bit-year-old on the front on my seat, the 3-and-a-bit-year-old on her own 2-wheel bike, clicks on her own helmet, kicks up their own kickstand.
I love seeing her cycle. She's so great. Bless her.
And it's just me and the 2 kids, bikes.
Yeah.
And it was Saturday afternoon, went via one playground, looped around, big loop. And I'm guiding like footpath now, road now, cover it in, stay this side, like those sort of brakes, stop sign, whatever. We went far. We went for it, like furthest playground. And she got across the other side and goes, I can't believe myself. Like, it was just very...
so proud. I love those moments. I love it.
So proud. It was just like such proud. And then it got dark and we had to go all the way back. The whole while, of course, she's wearing a Cinderella dress, as you do. And
she get tired on the way back?
Did not get tired at all.
Great.
This kid does not get tired.
That would be my worry, would be that on the halfway home, she's like, Dad, I'm done cycling now. You're like, what are we going to do? Like,
this is not going to happen. I'm on a bike.
Yeah.
No, it's happened before in other ways. When I'm on the bike and current T-wheeler, there's not. It's the crash while I'm on. Do I have to do something? But she gets up and does her own thing. Nice. But we did have a, we didn't have our pants and knickers available for the ride home, so we were sitting on our Cinderella dress all the way back. It was an adventure, is what it was.
Nice. You didn't have do you bring your dad bag with you anymore? Like, you don't? What about poopy diapers for your son?
He can just simmer in it in the seat. It's fine.
Yeah.
No problem. I mean, it was a casual ride that ended up being a 2-hour back trek. Like, it just escalated.
He'll be fine.
He'll be fine. He's fine.
I do feel that's a win. The day you can leave your house without a diaper bag, that's a thing. That's like, you're kind of like you're naked, like you forgot your phone, that kind of feeling of, okay, it's brilliant. You're not burdened with stuff. You're like, okay, I can just for walk, a while. I guess. He just
kind of lives with it, and you taught us the beautiful bush wee, right?
The nature wee,
the nature wee, yeah.
Nature wee is a key skill. You need that. I mean, urban wees. I mean, you can do that anywhere.
The greatest. That was it. That changed everything. And then and he's great. Like he's just having a lot of fun right now. The words are all coming, and they're coming in the cutest possible fashion. And
bless, I can't believe he's starting to talk. Bless him.
Refuses to walk. He's like, nah,
he's not getting to that. He's
like King Raj, but he's he's
why would I walk when you can cycle me around?
You can carry me. You can cycle. Saturday though, turns out we had a great lesson on candles. And just how hot candles can be.
Oh, no. Which one?
The 3-year-old. She reached up to the mantle, and I was next door. I heard a blood-curdling scream. I came in. And just holding this candle. There's dripped wax everywhere. And it's on her hand, and she's screaming. I'm like, oh, my God. Rush into the bathroom. I'm cleaning. I'm cold water to try to diffuse the hand, scraping it off. Wife walks in and goes, what about the face? I look down. I laugh about it now, but like... It was Phantom of the Opera. The whole face was covered in wax like a mask. Her. Eyes, ears, in the hair. Complete face coverage of solid mask. And I complete, utter loss of control. I had no idea. I was blabbering idiot. Complete freaking. I'm like, we've lost eyes here. We can have peeled skin. Turns out there are different types of waxes. The whole thing. Like, we've lost an ear. It's all over. I'm like, strip down into a shower. Let's do it. Just whatever it takes to cool down and then scrape it off. Turns out there's different types of waxes. And luckily, most of the larger candles that have a pool of wax in them, they're not paraffin wax. They're low temperature soy wax or whatever it is that has a very different temperature, as opposed to paraffin, which is the more typical like candlestick, which definitely does burn. This stuff does not. I hope I'm not misinforming going the other way. But anyway, there's different types of waxes.
Anyway, you got lucky with the wax that fell on her face.
God, just make sure that if you ever use live waxes, just make sure it's the stuff that's
I hate those moments. Oh man, when it just because it's happened so quick. It's such a like instant. Everything's in real. Oh Jesus, okay. Anyway,
it goes 100%, and it was a close.
Anyway, everything's fine. Another one got away with another one.
Yeah, that's right. Hey,
yay!
couple of adventures. Yeah.